In the mist-shrouded hills of Willowbrick Manor, where ivy clung to stone walls like desperate lovers, Isabella Thorne stood at the altar of a chapel frozen in time. At 26, she was a vision of reluctant grace, porcelain skin flushed with defiance, auburn curls tumbling like autumn leaves, and eyes like polished emeralds holding storms unspoken. Her gown, a cascade of ivory silk forced upon her by familial decree, felt like chains disguised as lace. The man beside her, no, not beside, but suspended in eternity, was Julian Ashford, 32, heir to the Ashford legacy, a titan of shipping empires now silenced by a yacht's cruel betrayal. 3 years in a coma, his body a porcelain shell in the manor's east wing, breathing through tubes that whispered of futures stolen. Isabella's father, Reginald Thorne, a baroness's shadow clinging to faded glory, had orchestrated this farce. Marry him, Isabella, he'd commanded, his voice gravel over greed. The Ashfords will stipulate a union to secure the estate. Your mother's debts drown us. This saves the Thorne name. Refusal meant ruin, eviction from their crumbling estate, her younger siblings scattered like autumn seeds. So here she was, vows exchanged in a ceremony attended by lawyers and ghosts, her hand trembling as she signed the registry. Julian's proxy, a dour solicitor, nodded solemnly, but Isabella's heart screamed rebellion. A husband in limbo, she thought, bound by law, not love. What cruelty fate weaves. The wedding night was a solitary vigil in the manor's velvet-draped chamber. Moonlight filtered through arched windows, casting silver halos on Julian's form. He lay in the four-poster bed, dark hair fanned like raven wings, chiseled features softened by repose, high cheekbones, a jaw shadowed with perpetual stubble, lips parted as if mid-whisper. Monitors hummed a mechanical lullaby, the green glows dancing like fireflies in the gloom. Isabella, shedding her gown for a simple night shift, approached as duty demanded. A kiss to seal the bond, the ancient rite insisted, a superstition from Ashford law that claimed it could stir the soul from slumber. Ridiculous, she knew. Neurology offered no such fairy tales. Yet as she leaned in, the air thickened with unspoken pleas. Her lips brushed his, feather-light, a courtesy born of exhaustion. But something shifted. A warmth, faint as dawn's first blush, bloomed where flesh met flesh. Isabella pulled back, heart stuttering, but Julian's eyes, deep sapphire pools long veiled, fluttered. A gasp escaped him, ragged and raw, as his fingers twitched against the sheets. Alarms blared, nurses flooded the room like specters summoned, but Isabella remained, frozen in awe. Julian, she whispered, her voice a thread in the chaos. He woke that night, not with fanfare, but fragility. Tubes removed, his first words were a croak. Who are you? Isabella, tears carving rivers down her cheeks, explained, the accident off Cornwall's jagged coast, the coma that eclipsed his world, the marriage that tethered their fates. Julian's gaze, sharp as sea glass honed by waves, searched hers. A bride I never met, to save a legacy I never wanted. His voice, velvet over gravel, carried the weight of lost years, boardrooms abandoned, friendships frayed, a family fractured by his absence. The Ashfords, cold custodians of fortune, had preserved him like a relic, not a man. Days blurred into a tentative dance. Willowbrick, once a mausoleum of marble and memory, stirred under Isabella's touch. She read to him from leather-bound tomes. Dickens' Tales of Redemption, Bronte's windswept passions, her voice weaving color into his monochrome existence. Julian, relearning the world's cadence, watched her with a hunger beyond the physical. She was fire to his frost, tending gardens where wild roses bloomed defiant, baking scones in the cavernous kitchen that filled the air with cinnamon hymns, laughing with the staff, old Mrs. Hargrove, whose stories of Julian's boyhood mischief softened the edges of his isolation. One eve, as twilight painted the library in hues of bruised plum, Julian confessed over brandy by the hearth. I was adrift long before the waves claimed me, he said, firelight etching shadows on his face. Chasing horizons to outrun the emptiness father's death left. Empires built on salt and steel, but no anchors for the heart. Isabella, curled in an armchair, saw the boy beneath the magnate, the one who'd carved ships from driftwood, dreaming of freedoms beyond ledges. "And you?" he asked, his hand finding hers, calloused from phantom labors. She spoke then, unburdening the cage of expectations, her sketches hidden in attic drawers, visions of liberated souls soaring on canvas wings, a love for poetry that her father deemed frivolous. "I married a ghost to save ghosts," she admitted, but found a mirror instead. Their laughter mingled, fragile as first frost, but in that shared vulnerability, embers kindled. The kiss that changed everything came unbidden, under a canopy of stars in the manor's rose arbor. A storm had passed, leaving petals strewn like confetti from the heavens. Julian, stronger now, pulled her close, his breath warm against her temple. "Isabella," he murmured, "you didn't wake me with duty. You called me home." Their lips met, not a seal, but a spark, slow, exploratory, tasting of rain and revelation. Time suspended, the world narrowed to the press of hearts, the symphony of sighs. In that embrace, chains dissolved, familial debts forgotten in newfound alliance, legacies rewritten not in ink, but in tension. Word spread like wildfire through Willowbrick's veins. Reginald arrived, bluster deflating at the sight of his daughter's glow, Julian's resolve. "The estate is yours," Julian declared, "but on our terms. No more ghosts haunting the living." They wed anew, not in chapel pomp, but a dawn ceremony by the sea, waves crashing applause to vows of fierce equality. Isabella's siblings thrived under the manor's wings, her sketches adorning walls once barren. Years wove their tapestry, a son with Julian's eyes and her curls, daughters who chased horizons on sails Julian captained himself. Willowbrick bloomed, a haven for artists and dreamers, its gates flung wide. And in quiet moments, by the hearth or under starlit skies, they'd steal kisses that echoed the first, reminders that love, once forced into shadow, could awaken worlds. For in the heart of a forced union, one kiss had shattered comas, of body and soul, proving that true awakening begins not with breath, but with the courage to feel. Thank you for watching this story till the end. Sparkles, if it touched your heart, please support us. Thumbs up, give it a like. Speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Bell, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us create more stories that inspire and make you believe in miracles. Your participation means a lot to us.